Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got College Football 25 Dynasty and Road to Glory full details. Let's check this out, man.
Talk about Dynasty
Been waiting for this.
and Road to Glory for EA Sports College Football.
Now,
25.
I've heard one thing already that Road to Glory is like it's not gonna start from high school, which sucks. But at the same time, I don't think it's the biggest deal, you feel me? But it's still gonna suck that you can't start from high school.
I talked about it in my video yesterday. Now,
but it is what it is.
There were only certain things that I could talk about yesterday, but a lot of different writers on different sites, it appears maybe they were able to talk about more details yesterday than I was able to. So I'm going to cover some of the articles that were out there and kind of give my opinions on the news we've heard about Dynasty and Road to Glory. Now, today was also supposed to be the gameplay deep dive day. I have a lot of gameplay info to go over, but that did get delayed a day. They're still finalizing some things that should be tomorrow on Friday, unless there's some other pushback, but I don't foresee that happening. There'll be tons of info to dive into tomorrow, every little last detail that you could want to know about gameplay, and I do believe this will be accompanied by a trailer that will show some actual gameplay. But as of today,
I can't wait for
this
that.
is all the footage we have so far.
That's going to be a huge video.
And the screenshots, but tomorrow we should have a lot more footage to hopefully look at, and there's going to be a lot of detail to dive into. In terms of other modes like Dynasty and Road to Glory, EA is going to be doing their own deep dives on those later on, where there's going to be even more info and detail, and those should also be accompanied by trailers as well. But for today, we can dive into the details that some of the writers did put out on their websites from what they learned when they were at EA. Now, if you don't want to miss any of those other deep dives and gameplay footage that's going to be coming, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss those videos when they go live. I'm trying to get to 600k subs before the release of this game, and if everybody watching just subscribed, we can hit that number in a few days. The links to the articles I'm going to be referencing will be linked in the description below for you to check out. So let's start with the basics here for Dynasty mode. It says you'll be able to go 30 years deep into Dynasty like the old games, and you will have the ability to have 32 user-controlled teams in both online and offline dynasties. The online Dynasty mode will not be available for cross-play, meaning you'll have to play with folks with the same console, at least for the first iteration of the game. They also brought back the ability to start your career as an offensive or defensive coordinator as well as a head coach. The word
that's something unique right there.
As an offensive or
that's
defensive
something unique.
Coordinator as well as a head coach. The word they really harped on with Dynasty was making it a sandbox where gamers have the choice to make of it what they want. They seem to be delivering on that promise at just about every level. Now, the only drawback here so far is the crossplay. We know that's going to be coming sooner rather than later. Same thing happened with Madden. They made franchise mode wait a little bit. I think it's just the logistics of making sure that you're able to roll that out and have it work properly, because the last thing you want is crossplay and server issues causing issues to Dynasty, which
because you know, like the EA servers and shit are they're already like ass on Madden sometimes, where the servers will be down for like a certain amount of time and shit. So I understand why it's not crossplay, but at the same time, I feel like they could, you know what I'm saying, like after after a month the game has been out, I feel like that's when they could potentially make it crossplay. But it's smart not having it be crossplay off rip.
I'm fine waiting a little bit longer,
knowing how the fucking servers are.
The game is better.
But like, bro, they're $1 billion company, my nigga,
back, but with more depth than ever before. Not only can you move teams around, but you can change conference rules and create custom protected opponents. This means if you want the SEC to go to 9 conference games each season, with the conference championship game being played at the top ranked team's home stadium rather than at a neutral site, you can do that. Custom schedules are also back, but your conference games are still locked on your schedule each year and you cannot move them around. The reasoning is because the game uses the actual schedule rotations provided by the conferences going into the future, and their goal is to provide as authentic as an experience as possible. They also went deeper to ensure annual matchups fall to the correct date, so rivalries are going to be on the week they've played every year in real life. The schedules will also feature every non-conference game already agreed to, which means those games we laugh about being scheduled in 2032 will be in the game when you get to that point of your Dynasty. Week 0 is also in the game.
That shit sounds like a made-up year.
Licensing for the stadium in Dublin, Ireland, so games scheduled there will be at a different neutral site location in the game. Kickoff games are part of the game and are licensed, but will be scheduled by the CPU, so you cannot put UMass in the Duke's Mayo kickoff game, sadly. So that's pretty good to know. You can do the custom conferences and schedules. You can move around certain opponents and schedule certain opponents. Only the ones that kind of have to be locked are are locked, and they're played on the weeks that make sense for more immersion, which I think is a good way to go about it. Team Builder. You will be able to import teams you create from the Team Builder website into Dynasty mode and play as the school you created. You can design uniforms, helmets, and fields to import into the game. You'll be able to download created schools made by others if you want a custom option but aren't big into graphic design. Full details on Team Builder will be arriving later this summer. I mean, I believe this is going to be similar to how it was in NCAA 14, maybe a little bit deeper, but even
like, bro,
if it's the exact same.
If the gameplay is like at least like solid to good, bro, I feel like this is gonna really wipe Madden out of the fucking water, bro. Because if the gameplay is way better than Madden, like, bro, it's only a matter of time till Madden's like left in the dust by College Football 25.
Same to me, that's good enough.
Or like
we'll find out a lot more
college
about
football
later
games
on,
in
but just the
general.
fact that it's
Because I know this is not
series,
going to be the only
that's
one
a
that
huge
they're
W. Coaching, skill
coming up
trees,
with.
and archetypes. When building out your coach, you will select one of 3 archetypes: motivator, recruiter, or tactician. Each of those will come with different strengths and weaknesses, with the 11 skill trees each coach will gain attributes in. You will not be able to max out all 3 skill trees in this version of the game, as it's a departure from NCAA 14 where you would max out your recruiting and then go max out your management skills. Instead, you'll have to figure out what's most important to you and build your coach accordingly, getting boosts in some areas but having weaknesses in others. The goal of the game at every level is to make sure the decisions you make throughout matter and have a lasting impact. Coaching carousel, staff hiring, and firing. The coaching carousel is back, and you'll get offers based on your reputation and performance, both as a coordinator and a head coach. A new wrinkle that many fans have wanted is the ability to hire and fire members of your staff. Your coordinators will also have skill trees, which means you can choose to have coordinators that fill in the gaps in your skill tree as a head coach, giving you balance but not the big boost. Or you can hire like-minded coaches that will unlock the highest level boost in those areas. You'll also be able to fire members of your staff and go into the coaching carousel and either try to poach coaches from other schools or hire from a pool of free agent coaches. However, each coach will have a talent tree of players which you will be able to look at that are attached to them from either the recruiting process or playing for them. As such, if you fire a guy, just like in real life, you'll probably lose some players to the transfer portal. Now we're going to continue on with even more details for Dynasty.
So that's
and Road to Glory.
Nick Saban retiring, because like after he retired, a lot of our guys from Alabama, you know what I'm saying, entered the transfer portal and shit like that. Like Isaiah Bond, he transferred to Texas. Caleb Downs transferred to Ohio State. Caden Proctor transferred to Iowa and then transferred back to Alabama.
Really quickly, I do want to shout out today's sponsor,
just a
Underdog
little bit of an
Fantasy.
example right
If you
there.
like sports and you like winning money,
Okay,
a lot,
buddy.
you sign NBA
W
player,
promo.
and if you send bonus cash, backbone of Dynasty mode, the most important thing that absolutely has to be great in order for this mode to be great. Here are the basics. Each year will feature 4,000 prospects with 32 earning 5-star status. Pitch grades also return with 14 in total, including proximity to home.
Bro, imagine you get
time,
all
sending
32
players to the NFL, and brand
5-star
exposure. And many
recruits,
recruits will
bro.
have deal breakers where they won't consider your school if you don't meet their required grade in certain areas. Athletes are back and can play 2 or 3 positions, and it will let you know what your team needs and positional needs are. In
So
the
like a
recruiting
Travis
screen,
Hunter
as well as
type
which
build.
players are risk of transferring. The transfer portal is also of the same screen, but won't open until the off season. The recruiting process. There's a good bit more detail in recruiting compared to 14, as you'll assign hours to recruit. In the off season, your recruiting hours and your transfer portal hours will be one and the same, once again forcing you to make decisions on where to focus your efforts. You'll also need to be cognizant of leaving roster spots open for portal guys. The early signing period also makes its debut in the game, with the portal opening after early signing day. The recruiting process will happen in stages, as will scouting. Gone is the ability to get a full scout on a guy in a week, as you won't be able to get a guy's skill tree until you bring him on an official visit. You'll have to stay above the cut line through the process, going from recruit locking in his top 10 to his top 8 to his top 5 and to top 3. You'll divide your allotment of recruiting hours across your recruiting board. The hours we saw on the screen were 55, but I don't have it confirmed if your recruiting hours to spend are dependent on your staff skill trees or not. Players will again have things that are important to them with the 14 pitch grades, and those will impact how interested they are in your school. There will no longer be a way to manipulate recruiting logic to pull guys in that weren't interested by throwing points at them. If they value proximity to home most and you live in California, even if your Georgia Bulldogs are number 1 in the nation, they won't be interested. interested. Within that, it'll be much harder to rapidly build a smaller program into a national title contender. No longer will you spend 1 year with a small school and be able to bring in 4 stars and 5 stars like in 14. Those top recruits will not consider your school and have you locked out with deal breakers early on. Instead, you're going
I
to
feel
have
like
to
this
truly build
is
up the
this is way better than what Madden has with the whole like draft class shit where you like. I feel like Madden can add more to like the scouting process in that, just like what College Football 25 is doing right here with the fucking recruits and shit.
over the years.
Cause this seems like, bro, this is gonna have so much flavor in the game, bro.
And recruiting years down the line. Recruiting visits. Once a player locks in his top 5, you'll be able to bring him on for a visit, and you'll once again be able to design a recruit's visit to show him the things that matter to him or hide things you're not highly regarded in.
Okay.
What game you bring someone to will also matter this year, with the game's outcome, win or lose, impacting how well the visit goes. For example, if you bring a recruit to a game against number 2 Ohio State, a win will move you a lot closer to signing him than if you bring him to a UL Monroe game and win. On the flip side, a loss to a highly ranked team won't hurt you as much, but losing to a lesser school will likely tank your chances with that recruit. Transfer portal. The portal will open after early signing period and will be a part of the offseason process, so it's a shortened process compared to high school recruiting. The portal section is a tab you can toggle to from the recruiting page using L1/R1. Service academies can use the portal unlike in real life, as can Clemson, which Dabo Sweeney will surely not like. You will have to manage your off-season recruiting hours for both the portal and the remainder of your high school recruiting. Like in real life, players you were close to landing in high school recruiting will remember that when they enter the portal, and you're likely going to end up as one of their preferred destinations in the transfer portal. You can also encourage your own players to enter the portal to clear up your roster. They are also bringing back the off-season step of trying to persuade players not to go to the NFL or go into the transfer portal, with very low, moderate, high, very high chances of success in stopping a guy from leaving your school. Players will enter the portal based on a number of factors, most notably how you are holding up your end of the bargain with their deal breakers. For example, if you land a recruit based off of playing time and he doesn't play as a freshman, he's at risk to enter the portal. Throughout the year, it will let you know who is at risk for the portal, and it will be up to you whether you want to make adjustments to try to keep guys or continue the same plan and let a guy hit the portal. NIL. There is not NIL in Dynasty mode, and they have a pretty good reason for that. When developing the game, NIL was done by collectives and wasn't legally something coaches and schools controlled. Beyond that, given how quickly things changed with NIL, they didn't want to put something in the game that was outdated as quickly as it was built. That point got enforced when the NCAA settlement to allow schools to pay players came down a few hours after.
I was kind of hoping NIL was in the
future,
game.
NIL will likely make its way in once that's something schools do, but for the first year, it will not, and the reasoning is solid.
Probably
also,
next year
I was told
they'll have
not
it
to expect there to ever be a way to commit financial crimes or do grimy stuff in the game, as it's rated E game, and they're not changing that. Now, that was confusing because I was under the impression that NIL was a part of the game in some way. Maybe I misunderstood things. Maybe this is more of a future thing because NIL is something that is very fluid right now. No one really knows how it's all going to work out. Rules are constantly changing.
If y'all saw that weird jump cut, bro, I had to sneeze.
So probably best not to touch it just yet. Player editing. One thing that was made clear is that you will be very limited with what you can do in terms of editing players compared to the old NCAA football franchise. But for good reason, because the players in this year's game are actually the guys that are on rosters. You won't be able to make considerable edits to them beyond team builder mode. It's a small price to pay to have the game back with actual players in it. And here's the last big one here. No exporting draft classes. It says, I forgot to add this initially, but you will not be able to export draft classes to Madden.
Yeah, I heard about
that is
this.
Because the players in the game are actual college football players, and the licensing deals for EA College Football and Madden are totally separate. The Madden deal is through the NFLPA, and active players in college football won't have signed there. This is one of the small prices to pay to have the game back with real players, and no, once you get 6 years deep into a dynasty, that doesn't change that yet, at least. So this is something that's a bummer, but it is just simply a legal thing. With there being real licensed players now, these guys are not licensed to be in the NFL. They're not under the NFLPA because they're not yet in the NFL, so you can't legally transfer them there. Whereas in the old game,
bro, I hope they change that soon because that would be pretty sick for us to have the actual players like transfer from College Football 25 to like Madden and shit without having to do so much work and creating custom players and shit. Like
wasn't real
they just want us to
yes,
work
there were
much
real
harder.
numbers and stuff like that.
Apparently,
We would
bro.
go
Like
in,
that's
edit the
nothing new
games,
with
trade
Madden.
these players. We were transferring our custom rosters technically over to Madden. These are real life rosters now, and they can't allow them to be transferred over to a game where they don't have the rights to use them. Now, maybe in the future, there's some legal hoops they can jump through to maybe make this happen. I don't know the logistics of it, but it's understandable why it's not there, because these are a total different set of rules and circumstances that they're forced to operate under, and they can't just let you bring them over to a game where their rights are not licensed. Now let's jump over and briefly talk about Road to Glory. So something I've seen mentioned from multiple write-ups is it being kind of a 10 to 20 hour story mode. That's really not the impression I got. I know I can't really speak too much onto
10 to 20 hours is pretty
I kind of
nice.
feel like that's a little bit misunderstood. This definitely, from all the stuff I've read and stuff I've
that's
come
not
to learn,
true?
I don't think this is anything like long shot or face of the franchise. So I think story mode's the wrong way to word this. I think maybe what they meant was there's like 10 to 20 hours worth of extra content to play through off the field and stuff like that. I think it's just kind of misunderstood the way some people wrote this, but I definitely wouldn't classify this as a story mode. This is Road to Glory that you know from old college games, though there are some differences. There are a couple notable things that aren't there, like you can't play in high school, which I do think is an L,
I heard about
but
that.
I think it's one of those things that I don't think it's going to make the mode bad. I think the mode's going to have a lot of replayability based on the write-ups and the information that's out there. I think high school is probably one of those things that get added to the next game. I think you just get up to a point where you've been working on a game for 3 years. You're adding all these things from the ground up. You're not.
Damn, they were working on this game for 3 years. This shit better be the best game of all time, man.
Adding gameplay features and
like, bro, working on the game for 3 years. Same goes for GTA 6.
Where you're 3 years in, people want the game to drop. There might be a thing or two that's not going to be there, and it's a matter of, well, do you want to not have the game for another year so that they can add a couple more things, or do you want to have the game now and say, you know, there may be a thing or two that's not there that you'll have to wait another year for? That's kind of where I'm at with it. I think Road to Glory not having high school is an L for this year. I think also the fact that you can only be a quarterback, running back, receiver, linebacker, and cornerback is a bit of an L.
I mean, that's pretty much the same thing for Madden Face of the Franchise as well.
Positions
so.
there is something that was true to the old Road to
So
Glory.
that's not really the
eventually. It says
biggest
no longer
letdown.
Start in high school instead.
But I would hope like you could like be edge rusher or something like in the near future, but that's pretty much the same positions that are in Madden.
Getting playing time. 5-star starts at about a 79 overall, 4-star at a 75 overall, 3-star at a 70 overall, and 2-star at a 65.
What about
overall.
a 1-star?
If you choose to be a 2-star, you will have to really spend a lot of time in practice before you get onto the field. If you're a 5-star,
I mean, I feel like the only people that would like choose to be 2-star and shit is like you're creating content and shit like that for a video. That would be good content for a video, but I feel like most people will probably choose 5-star recruit.
More on that in a little bit to get a starting spot. From there, you will pick things that are most
but from a content perspective, 2-star might be, you know what I'm saying, the best.
Your star level and what school
I might do that
with what you do
honestly.
most important.
That might be a stream type of thing for me.
Games, but instead, most of the mode will be done out of the main menu screen with different scenarios popping up on your phone.
Come on now.
Manage your time each week and have to decide how to balance your schedule between 5 areas of focus: academics, leadership, health, training, and brand. How you choose to manage your time will determine everything from your eligibility to play. Yes, you can go academically ineligible, to whether you get to challenge for a starting job. Going too far in any direction means neglecting another, which has consequences. On the other hand, it's not simply a matter of balancing everything out, because that too will mean leaving things on the table. The primary goal of the mode is to make you make decisions that are not clearly black and white. As they explain, the goal was to create ethical gray areas with the various dynamic scenarios that will present themselves throughout the game. Even things that seem like a good choice may have negative consequences and vice versa. By doing so, they hope to make the story element really matter rather than the cutscenes you are just clicking through to get to the game. Academics. When they announced you had to maintain a GPA, many people laughed at the idea that you'd be taking tests. That is happily not the case. Instead, you simply have to allocate some hours to studying, because there will be tests on your schedule, and if you are not prepared as indicated by the
nigga, what, bro? So we gotta do schoolwork? No fucking way, bro. No fucking way we actually gotta do schoolwork in the fucking game. You simply have to allocate some hours to studying. Nigga, bro, I'm not trying to study, bro. I graduated school for a reason, so I wouldn't have to study anymore. Now you making me study in a fucking game? Come on now, bro. This is bullshit. You could fail and become... Bro, what, bro? If that happens, you'll have to spend extra time with tutors, which will further set you back elsewhere. All of the elements come with potential boosts to your skill trees and academic Bro, what the hell, bro? Nigga, I'm not trying to study in a fucking video game. Is there some way we can skip this shit, or like do we actually have to do this? Come on now.
Bar, you could fail and become academically ineligible. If that happens, you'll have to spend
Bro, I'm
extra
finna
time
pull a goddamn CJ Stroud in this bit.
tutors, which will further set you back elsewhere. All the elements
hell
come with
no.
potential boosts to your skill trees, and academics figure to boost your mental abilities on the field. Leadership and position battles. Leadership is where you bank coaching trust points with how you get on the field. Allocating time here means getting in the film room and doing the necessary football work that's not on field drills to show your coach and teammates that you're committed. When you get enough coach trust and catch a teammate ahead of you on the depth chart, you'll trigger a position battle. The position battles bring back the glorious return of mini games, and you will have to win a best 2 out of 3 against your teammate in the mini game in order to earn a spot. A key element of this, your computer teammates are also always earning coaching trust, and if you start to struggle as a starter, they might catch you and force you into a position battle. This means winning the starting job is only the beginning, as you have to perform to keep it. Health. This is where the wear and tear system comes into play. Throughout the season, you will accrue wear and tear on different body parts by taking hits, and when you get too much in one spot, you'll start to lose attribute points for certain skills that are tied to those areas. You'll need to put some hours into recovery in order to stay healthy throughout the season, or else you'll risk getting hurt and missing time.
So say if you like start, like if you're a receiver and you are a I'm gonna go quarterback here. Say if you're like a quarterback and you keep taking like hits to like the shoulder or some shit, but you know what I'm saying, it starts, you know what I'm saying, the wear and tear and shit starts to play on that arm and stuff like that, and then when you try to throw, the throw is like incredibly, unbelievably inaccurate and shit like that. I feel like that's gonna be the way they go with it. If not, then
training is,
you know, I want to see what the hell they mean by that.
Your ratings and skill trees.
Because I feel like that should play a factor.
That overall rating rise. However, that could come at the expense of something else, and having a great overall won't help if you aren't able to be on the field for academic reasons, injuries, or lack of coaching trust. Brand. The final piece is the NIL portion of Road to Glory, where you can sign brand deals and get fans to boost your following. Now, this might seem like the least important thing and the easy section to put off. However, each brand deal will come with in-game boosts that will help you out, and boosting your following could be important for the portal. So NIL is in the game for Road to Glory, I guess, more so than it will be in Dynasty. Not in some of the ways maybe you thought it would be, but it's definitely going to be there in terms of signing brand deals and things like that. Dynamic scenarios. Throughout the game, you'll be presented with various options, and you'll have to pick what to do, with consequences that could be both positive and negative at the same time. For example, you might be asked to do something with teammates instead of study, and that might earn some coaching trust in the leadership category, but if it means you are underprepared for an upcoming test, your GPA might drop, and you could be in danger of becoming academically ineligible.
Damn, bro.
Pop up throughout your
having a
career,
1.5 GPA is going to be crazy.
Obvious with how you're balancing the 5 main areas, always needing to be on top of your mind. Game day. All the things you do during the week will impact you on the field on game day as well. Your mental and physical abilities will determine some in-game boosts, as will the aforementioned brand deals. Your coaching trust will determine play calling options, and for QBs, whether you can hot route or audible. Your health will also impact play calling. A banged up QB won't get the options called, and if you have piled up wear and tear and not done what's needed to get it down during the week, you'll be at risk of injury and have diminished stats. Redshirting. Like in real life, you can redshirt a year if you play 4 or fewer games. The game will automatically do that for you, meaning if you simply can't win the position battle to get on the field or get hurt year 1, you'll get that 5th year. You cannot demand a redshirt and refuse to play, but you can tank practice.
Bro, why not, bro? Like, that's gotta be, bro. Why can't you just demand it off rip, bro? Come on now. Come on, EA.
To do so if you really wanted. Transfer portal. The transfer portal will be available to you every offseason like in real life, and will work like recruiting did in the beginning when you picked your first team. You'll get offers from teams that fit your preferences. I really enjoyed the one example they showed that was a guy that really cares about academics, so his top school was Vandy. The coaching carousel will also be happening in the offseason, so your coach might leave, which impacts coach trust with a new guy coming in, and you might choose to follow your old coach to his new school. Exporting to Madden. Something that will be exciting for fans that get both college football and Madden is that you will be able to export your Road to Glory player to Superstar mode in Madden. That means you have the opportunity to go from recruit to NFL legend across 2 games.
I forgot they changed it to Superstar mode
with your Road to Glory player instead of just 4. So unlike the draft classes for Dynasty, there's no restrictions here because this is your own created player, so you will be able to bring him to Madden. Like I said, I do think there's going to be a lot of replayability to this mode with all the off-field stuff that you have to manage with your player and how the gameplay affects things this year and how you have to monitor your players' wear and tear and stuff like that. I do think it is a bit of an L that we don't have high school or some of the other positions unlocked, but I really do not think that's going to hold back this mode from still being a lot of fun to play. And if you want to hear some of my personal hands-on experience playing,
what do you guys think, bro? I'm excited about this game. I'm still waiting to see gameplay and shit like that before I really get excited. But like at the look of this, bro, it feels like this game might be, you know what I'm saying, one of the best football games of all time, bro. Like if the gameplay is straight, then yes. But right now, you know what I'm saying, we're only looking at the shit that they've added in the game. We haven't really seen any you know what I'm saying, real gameplay. We've only seen the trailer and shit. But y'all let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications to get notified whenever I drop another banger video. On the road to 200 subs, so we get there for more banger content like this. And without further ado, I'm out. Gang!